Okay, it's time for Film with Friedge.
Montreal, a city where the game is worshipped, legends are born and revered through the ghosts. A place where hockey is king.
When it's going well, there's nothing like it in the NHL.
St. Louis is trying to build this historic franchise back up.
This is a guy who's done everything. He's been Stanley Cup, he's got gold medals, a Hall of Fame career.
Right on time. I'm always late, so I really respect that. Before we look at the video, what's it like to come into the Montreal Canadiens dressing room with all the history?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely, you know, for me growing up here and seeing all the names, and obviously it just like smells history. Like, it's got so much success this franchise has, and you can feel it in this locker room. It's special for me to be part of this team now that I grew up just idolizing.
Who's the person that you walked into after you became coach and you're like, wow?
There's a lot of guys that come and support, and, but for me, what kind of like was a wow moment is Madame Béliveau. She sits behind our bench, like about 4 rows up. She doesn't come to every game, but she's there enough. Like, I would say maybe 10 games a year. Every time I get on the bench, I look to my left to see if she's there. And if she's there, I always say hello, you know, out of respect, you know. But it's funny because there's 3 rows in front of her. So everybody thinks I'm saying hello, those 3 rows. But I'm actually saying hi to Madame Béliveau, and she says hello. And but to me, that's pretty special that, you know, she sits there behind the bench.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful that you recognize her. Okay, so I want to look at some of Montreal's plays this year.
Here comes Hudson. Lane Hudson scores! Hudson! What a shot! Oh, baby, how about that one for Lane Hudson?
Oh, that's just Lane doing Lane, you know. I mean, Lane is such an, you know, you give Lane that kind of time and space, and Lane's able to create that time and space for him with his deception, obviously his ability. He's able to do things at a high speed, and he sees everything because it's rare that his eyes are on the puck, you know. So he can take advantage of you know, space given to him, or if guys are open on the backside, there's not much he doesn't see on the ice.
Hudson at the line towards the net. Rebounds! Score! Suzuki! What a deflection! And a new career high for the Habs captain!
Another guy who's had a marvelous year for you. And I mean, we've seen his growth throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Suzy is he drives possession, but, you know, he's also a guy that's willing to attack. He's not just a perimeter player, and this is a great example of that. I think people underestimate his speed. I think his strength. He's not an overly tall guy, but he's very strong.
Thick.
Yep. And you know, obviously his IQ to me is off the chart. Suzy doesn't play a one-on-one game, but he feels like right now, like he felt like right now, like when just before he came around, that he leaned in. Like he felt like that he had the advantage physically. And when you do have the advantage physically, especially in a 3-on-3 situation when they play man-on-man, but there's teams that play man-on-man at 5-on-5, when you just have that step that you're gonna see, like right here, he knows he's in. You know, and it's hard for the other 2 Florida players to let go of their guy because they're so focused on their guy, and there's that window. And obviously he pulled the goalie so far to one side, and he made a great move, obviously, just attacked.
Now it's Suzuki, and he's got space with Caulfield going to the net. Suzuki to Caulfield, scores!
I love watching these 2 guys together. They have a special chemistry. And how long did it take until you saw them developing something special?
I pretty much put them together pretty early when I came here, you know. I think they complement each other really well. And I feel you know, everybody thinks about Cole Caulfield as a goal scorer, which they are not wrong. But, you know, I think to be, it actually reminds me a lot of Stammer in a sense that.
I thought you were going to say it reminds you of you.
No, I would say I was more along the line, the way I played the game, I felt like I was more like Susie than Cole.
Okay.
You know, what Stammer did after that is, you know, obviously I played with him. I think I helped that. Mm-hmm. I helped that to be a good playmaker as well, to be a passer too. And you saw Stammer, what he's done, and you know, throughout his career, and how he became also a good playmaker. And Cole is learning that too now. I feel he's more than just a goal scorer. Actually, he can you know, extend possession and make plays and find. I think he's learning a lot of that from Susie.
Thinks he can connect with every player on his roster. Why? Because he's been in the same spot as every player on his roster. Not many coaches can say that.
All year long, you've been like, why not us? Why not us? Why can't we do it? And so in November, you guys are near the bottom of the league. And did you ever lose your confidence? Did you ever lose your belief in this group?
You know, in November, like you said, we were, you know, we didn't have the start of the season that we wanted, but I feel that that's probably what we needed.
Really?
To get it to this level, you know, because if we had an okay start, you know, would we have dug in as much? Things happen for a reason. I love the way we responded and we kept correcting ourselves throughout the season. I think we've matured through that experience. I think we're more prepared now for a bad period, a bad game, a bad stretch, because we've shown that we can repair.
Do you ever freak out? Do you ever lose it on them?
I mean, I feel as a coach during a season, you know, you only have a certain amount of bullets.
I agree with that.
You know, so you got to
Can't
use
do it all the time.
You got to use it wisely. You know, I every now and then, I mean, I'll fire one, but you know, I tell them my truth, and I know I can relate to all of them. You know, and sometimes my truth come out a little more passionate. Sometimes my truth come out just very calm. And sometimes, again, you fire a bullet, my truth comes out a little angry. I just try to be calculated and real.
Martin St. Louis, centering pass. LeCavalier couldn't get it to sit. St. Louis in front, takes a shot, scores! Martin St. Louis with the overtime winner. And the Tampa Bay Lightning win a series for the first time in their history.
All right, so this one reminds me kind of a little bit about the Canadiens now.
Yeah, we had lost the first 2 games. We were down 2-0 in the series, and we came back 4 straight.
I just remember about, like, that was the time, that was your breakthrough year, your MVP, you did so many things so well, but you just felt that year you'd proven to everybody, that everyone who ever doubted you, that it was over.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, you know, you showed the clip with Washington, that playoff year. We lost to Jersey in 5, and they won the cup that year. But I felt like that playoff run, my first playoff run, took me to another level. You know, and I think that's what I love about playoffs, especially as a young guy. It makes you go to another level. And what I did with that playoff run, I came back the next year and I kind of started the year at that level. You know what I mean? I had raised the bar, my own like bar. Well, that should have been a penalty. But I remember coming from the corner, and I felt like I had physical advantage where I was on the ice. I was on the inside, so I just went right to the net. And so I beat my guy to the net. You know, when the puck goes to the top and you have an advantage physically on the ice and you can get on the inside, they can't box you out, so you're free. So for me, as soon as I felt I was free, I was anticipating that, and I was beating my guys to the net. And the one thing that, obviously that's a penalty, right? Okay, but the people that don't understand why Kiprusoff, right?
Yes.
Didn't really control that rebound. Is actually Richie tipped it a hair.
He got it.
Yeah, he tipped it just a hair, because that rebound was just. I don't know if you see it there. He tipped it a hair, and for me, I just trying to elevate that puck as high as I can. It actually goes 7-hole. It looks like it goes top shelf.
Yeah, it goes off his pad.
Yeah, it goes 7-hole. I'm just trying to get it up, you know, because I know the pad's down. But you know, that rebound was just where it ended up because Richie just got a little piece of it, and Kiprusoff couldn't control it.
Stepan gave the pass to the side, all the way back in front, the shot blocked, rebound, score! Rangers get the first goal, and I believe it's going to be Marty St. Louis. Wouldn't that be something on Mother's Day in New York?
This is another one of my, it was such a beautiful moment.
Yeah, like kind of similar to an all different play, but I was always, if I was free, I was kind of always going towards the net. And this hits my pants. It goes off my pants.
It's fate.
I know, but the crazy part, I don't know if you can let this, if you have this video, you can let it run longer than that. But so I go in this corner, right? And I'm angry, I'm happy. Obviously, this is Mother's Day. I lost my mom like 3-4 days prior to that. You know, I don't know if I should cry or laugh. I have so many emotions. But after I get away from the pile, and I don't know how it happened, but the puck came right to me. And I don't know if you have the possibility of let this thing run, but I'm gonna literally get out of that pile to go to the bench, and the puck actually like glides towards me, and I just bend down and pick it up. It was weird.
It's fate.
I know.
Well, if there's one thing we've learned from these Montreal Canadiens is they're never out of a game. They're a very resilient group.
This is a Habs team that likely won't give up with Marty St. Louis behind the bench.
Here's my last question to you.
Yeah.
You've had a taste. I remember you played against the Canadiens in the playoffs as a visitor, but you're on the cusp here of walking behind the bench, waving at Madame Beliveau on a playoff game.
Yeah. You know, I believe you can convince your brain that you're going to do certain things, and your thoughts become your actions for sure. We put ourselves in a really good spot to achieve a goal here. When I walk behind the bench at the Bell Center, it's a special feeling. You almost have to pinch yourself, you know, that I'm behind the bench of the Canadiens. You know, I was a kid going to the outdoor rinks with my Canadiens jersey on, and, you know, and Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, watching with my dad. All my idols were the Canadiens. And to be the person behind the bench, taking care of the guys that actually take care of the team, it's pretty cool.